adults over there need to help them grow out. Bella. My country takes a big sweet flag of liberty, of thee I sing. And where my fathers and land of the hills, from every mountain side, let freedom ring. Very good, I can hear you.
So let's go ahead and let's do our pledges. We're going to pledge first to the American flag, and then we're going to pledge to the Christian flag, and then we're going to pledge to the Bible. All right. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Christian flag. I pledge allegiance to the Christian flag and to the Savior whose kingdom stands, one Savior, crucified, risen, and redeemed, with life and liberty for all who believe. Does anybody remember the one last night? And what was it?
Righteousness exalted a nation, but sin is reproach to any people.
Amen.
We're going to learn another one. It is the Psalms 127. The first part is going to be familiar to you. The second part we may not, but it's all the same purpose. You can't, you got to have the whole Word of God. Half of it just won't get you through. So you've got it up here on the screen. Y'all can see it. Those that can read it, let's go over it, and we'll start there with the reference. Psalms 127:1. Except the Lord build a house, they labor in vain that build it. Except the Lord keep the city, the watchman waketh not but in vain. Tonight, we have 3 guests. I'm looking forward to it because these 3 probably added the very stimulus, the very impetus. That's a big word. Let's go for it.
I'm not sure.
Okay. For our United States today. Today we have 3 special guests with us. The first 2 are General George Washington and his wife Martha, the first president and the first lady of the United States. And then we have Benjamin Franklin, a Pennsylvania delegate. He was a real lightning rod for us. If America ever had a knight in shining armor riding to her rescue on a white horse, that knight was George Washington, who became our first president of these United States. 3 major factors caused the American Revolution: a dysfunctional policy towards the colonies, a heavy-handed British policy, and the third, the emergence of George Washington, a churchman in Virginia's Anglican Church who brought discipline and order to a wild and disorganized band of predominantly patriots. Washington helped fund the Revolutionary War out of his own pocket. He neither expected nor received payments for his services.
No, sir. I didn't wish to make any profit from my service to my country. I wanted no payment beyond my actual expenses. However, there was no amount of money that could have been tempted me to do this difficult task and lead my life of ease and happiness.
In fact, George felt so unworthy of his position as the leader of the new nation, and he knew he needed God's help. In fact, one time he wrote me a letter and it said, "I hope my undertaking this service is designed to answer some good purpose. I rely confidently on that providence which has heretofore preserved and been bountiful to me."
I hear you have had an interesting, even miraculous experience at Fort Dunscombe. that showed you the providential hand of God in your life?
Yes, sir. It was in July 1755, about 20 years before we started our battle for independence. It was a massacre. Every mounted officer was slain, even General Braddock fell. Of 3 companies of Virginia troops, only 30 men were left alive. I placed myself at the head of that small band and provided them cover so that the English could retreat.
Who were your attackers?
In that battle, it was the Indians that attacked us. There were 714 American and British troops together that had been slaughtered, every officer but myself. I am told that 17 times they lined me up in their sights. I was their target. 4 musket shots passed through my coat, but they missed me, and 2 horses were shot out from under me. It was providential protection from on high.
That's where George earned the nickname Battle-Proof George Washington.
That incident made the Indians observe that I was under special guardianship of divine protection, so they stopped firing at me. An old Indian chief said of the incident, "The Great Spirit protects that man," pointing at me, "and guides his destinies. He will become the chief of nations. A people yet unborn will hail him as the founder of a mighty empire." But we know it was the hand of God who protected me, because he had a plan and a purpose for my life.
If God be for us, who can be against us?
Well, there were many incidents where we saw the providential hand of God. The Constitutional Convention was on the verge of complete rupture. For over a month, the delegates wrestled with the issue of representation with no breakthroughs at all, and patience was wearing thin. Emotions were on a high. At age 81, a delegate from Pennsylvania, who usually wrote out his remarks and often had them read due to his infirmity, but not this time. This time he was stirred to rise and address the delegates himself.
The small progress we had made after 4 or 5 weeks with each other is a melancholy proof of the imperfection of human understanding. In this situation of this assembly, groping as it were in the darkness to find political truth, and scarcely able to distinguish it when presented to us. How has it happened, sir, that we have not hitherto once thought of humbly applying to the Father of lights to illuminate our understanding? In the beginning of the contest with Britain, we were sensible of the danger. We had daily prayer in this very room for divine protection. Our prayers, sir, were heard and were graciously answered. All of us who were engaged in frequent incidents of superintending providence in our favor. How have we forgotten this powerful friend? Or do we imagine we have no longer need his assistance? I have lived, sir, a long time. And the longer I live, the more convincing proofs I see of this truth, that God governs in the affairs of man. And if a sparrow cannot fall to the ground without his notice, is it probable that an empire can rise without his aid? We have been assured, sir, in the sacred writings, that they who build the house, they labor in vain that build it. Sir, sacred writings, except the Lord build the house, they labor in vain that build it. Psalms 127:1. I firmly believe that without his concurring aid, we shall succeed in this political building no better than the builders of Babel. We shall be divided by our little particular local interest. Our projects will be confounded, and we ourselves shall become a reproach and a byword down to the future ages. I therefore beg leave to move that heretofore prayer imploring assistance of heaven and its blessing on our delegation be held in this assembly everywhere, and that one or more of the clergy in this city be requested to officiate in that service.
That speech Benjamin Franklin gave marked the turning point of the convention. Breakthroughs followed shortly. Within a year, the Constitution was ratified by 11 states to establish the first Christian form of government in the history of the world.
And this is why our government's first order of business is prayer before they commence with their governmental duties.
Yes, sir, religion and morality are the essential pillars of any society.
Our country was established on biblical principles, and the Word of God is our foundation.
So, George, and when you were sworn into office as president, what book did you use?
Oh, the Bible, of course. None other but the Word of God.
And he had it open to the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, and he had his hand on it.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 promises the blessings or the curses on a nation according to their faithfulness to keep God's word.
And at the end of this oath, he added the words, "So help me God." And then he leaned over and kissed God's word.
Remarkable. Public acknowledgement and adoration of God was universally affirmed and practiced by every aspect of our government in its early years. Our founders considered this an indispensable, highly necessary element to the success of our form of government. It was the spirit of the Constitution. All three branches of the government, both at the national and state level, emphasized its importance.
We're going to have an ending rally. All right, there'll be special guests at the ending rally, so don't leave like somebody did last night. We're coming back. We're going to try to stay on schedule. We will have some chicken tenders tonight and some dip and all that. We're going to have good food tomorrow night. Have hot dogs. Martha Washington has made chili for the hot dogs. There are fireworks tomorrow night. And let's see. You don't want to miss anything, all right? And watermelon tomorrow night. I got watermelon tomorrow night and fireworks. And now tomorrow night we won't do crafts or the activities, all right? So we're going to combine some things tomorrow night and have a... But anyway, so now we're ready to go. All right, young people, you're going to go with Miss Melissa. All right, out that door. And then teenagers, we're going to go back where we were. All right?
Before we were ever constituted as a nation, we had to declare our independence from Great Britain.
He starts out every morning like it's Independence Day.